Gate. That on the right is the auxiliary gate for the outside post positions. A look there at Big Truck, trained by Barclay Tagg of Funny Side fame, into the starting gate with jockey Javier Castellano. The 15 there is Adriano and Edgar Prado. 17, Cowboy Cal, expected to be one of the early leaders.
Hey, tell him we go.
Pyro goes in, Sean Bridgemahan. And the horses continue to load for the Kentucky Derby, the 134th edition of the Run for the Roses. And here to call the race is Tom Durkin.
There goes Gallego in post position number 19, and there's the favorite with only 3 starts. Going into that Kentucky Derby starting gate, Big Brown. He'll have to beat some inexperience and 19 3-year-olds who is inside. They're in the gate. And they're off in the Kentucky Derby. Cole Coleman breaking alertly from that inside post. Bob Blackjack has some good early speed as well. Big Brown is there on the far outside. 8 Bells forwardly placed. And here's that stampede bias for the first time. And Bob Blackjack has taken the early lead. Recapture the Glory is there on the outside. Cowboy Gal is third. Big Brown on the far outside is fourth. Then it's Cool Coleman, 5th toward the inside. See Fortune up close early, running along in 6th position. Gallego 7th on the outside. Tail of a Conti is 8th on the rail. Monbo 9th on the far outside. Big Truck is running in 10th. Court Vision is 11th. Sea Humor is 12th. Adriano is 13th. Anak Nakal is 14th. And then it's Smooth Air, 15th on the far outside. Colonel John is 16th early on. Pyro is 17th. Then a break of another 3.5. Back to Visionaire. And Dennis of Court is the last of 20. 47 seconds flat for the opening half mile in this Derby by Bob Blackjack. On the outside, Cowboy Cal pressing this strong pace here. 47 for the opening half mile with a half mile to go. Then farther back in the field, Recapture the Glory, 3rd on the outside. And the fillies right there with the fighting chance. 8 Bells, she's fourth. And there goes Big Brown. Big Brown on the far outside. He's catapulting past horses. One by one now. He was 5th just a moment ago. And now he's 2nd as they come toward the top of the stretch. Tail of a Cotty is also right there. And then Colonel John comes on the scene late as the field turns for home at the top of the stretch. And it is Big Brown who rolls open now to a 3-length lead. 8 Bells is 2nd, Recapture the Glory is 3rd, Tail of a Conti is 4th, and the final furlong of the Kentucky Derby, and it's going to be Big Brown bounding home to a convincing win in the Run for the Roses. It is Big Brown by 5 on the wire. The filly 8 Bells was 2nd. Dennis of Court came from 20th to be 3rd under the line, and Tail of the Conti was 4th. There's the Derby winner, Big Brown, and he delivered today.
Well, what did Bob Newmeyer say earlier about Rick Dutrow in the home of Muhammad Ali? If you can do it, you ain't bragging. And Rick Dutrow was confident, super confident. Some said disdainfully confident. Well, it looks like he had a reason to be confident. Big Brown, outside post and all, didn't even break on the lead. Just bided his time in 4th going to the first term. He's the unofficial winner. You saw the time, 2:01 and change. Kent DeSormo gets the win. We saw his family just before the race, the apprehension on their face. His son Jacob, with his first Kentucky Derby, witnesses his dad win the Roses. Gary, it looks like this horse is the real deal.
He's the real deal, and he did exactly what Kent DeSormo and Rick Dutrow said he would be capable of doing. They look very smart right now after saying they wanted the 20 hole. That's the trip they wanted. Just stalking on the outside. They said he didn't need the lead. He didn't have the lead. And there, he's still a fresh horse. Kent DeSormo just came off there, and Outriders got a hold of him. He landed on his feet, but that's the sign of a horse that's still fresh after running 1.25 miles there.
A little embarrassing, though.
Well, a little embarrassing, but he's not going to be too embarrassed. Getting back up, there's how the Cowboys do it. Just swing back up on there.
And we're told now that 8 Bells, the filly, has been injured.
Trying to get some information right now.
There she is.
Going on the track ambulance. Equine ambulance was just headed over there. I think that's probably what Big Brown had spooked from. That's just about 20 yards away from where that accident had happened.
So Kent DeSormo with his third Kentucky Derby win, the first for trainer Rick Dutrow. Let's go to Donna next to Kent DeSormo.
Kent, first of all, congratulations. You've already won 2 Kentucky Derbies. How special is it to win your third?
I tell you what, with what's going on in my career over the past 10 years, I feel absolutely like the luckiest man alive, because God certainly has blessed me with all of this fortune. Beautiful horses, wonderful people to ride for, and I just want to thank my family right now for moving east. I uprooted them, grabbed my kids from their friends, took them east, and this was why.
I'm sure they're going to feel like it's worth it to watch you win this third Kentucky Derby. This is a horse that Dick Dutrow, the trainer, was outspokenly confident about all along. You were more subdued. Were you feeling as confident, or were you just keeping it all in?
I think the most obnoxious thing I said was that this was my best chance I ever had to win a Kentucky Derby, and you know what I've been on.
That's a very powerful statement. Let's go to Bob Newmeyer, who's with Dick Dutrow.
Well, with Rick Dutrow, Rick, what does this mean to you?
Everything. I can't describe the feeling that all of us have right now. It's just an unbelievable feeling.
What is it about this horse that made you so confident going into this race?
What you saw today. That's what made me so confident. I can't explain it, Bob.
10 years ago, when you were down and out, you were sleeping on some stall at Aqueduct. Is there one person or one moment that puts you on the straight and narrow to where you are today?
I think a whole lot of people helped me. I don't have enough time to name them all, but I swear to God, I got so many good people around me. Just incredible feeling what we're going through right now.
And the Preakness if he comes out healthy.
We're ready to roll, Bob.
Rick Dutrow.
All right, as Big Brown becomes the first horse since Clyde Van Dusen to win from post position 20. That was in 1929, the 52nd favorite to win in 134 years. But a sad end to the race. 8 Bells, the filly, ran her heart out. She was second. And here is the equine ambulance pulling up next to 8 Bells, who I guess pulling up, Gary, had a problem because she did finish second behind, although 5 lengths behind Big Brown.
Yeah, she came into the stretch, was fighting back. It looked like she was done at about the 3/8 pole. Midway around the final turn, it looked like she wasn't going to get any part of it. She battled back to finish a good, strong second. Galloping out, she was down on the ground. Not sure what happened. Wouldn't want to speculate myself at this time.
Dr. Larry Bramlage is standing by, and he is with Kenny Rice.
All right, thanks, Tom. Dr. Bramlage right now, just as we're getting ready to talk, he was getting a preliminary report. He's getting more information right now on his walkie-talkie, Tom. We'll stay right here with him and come back to you. We should have an update in the next 30 seconds or so.
All right, Kenny, let us know when Dr. Bramlage is ready, as 2 actually equine ambulances pulled alongside 8 Bells.
You know, my experience over the years riding, I've had horses that did collapse after a race, and most of the time turned out to be heart-related or some type of aneurysm.
All right, let's go to Donna back out on the track.
Well, Gary, I believe you're right. I was watching all the horses gallop out after the races. I was waiting for Big Brown, and I saw her just suddenly fall. And as you said, it could be heart-related. She never did get back up again. Now, that doesn't mean that it's terrible. It might mean that she just is trying to recover, and they decided to keep her down there. A lot of times they'll do that, but we'll have to wait for that official report from Dr. Bramlage. I can tell you that 8 Bells jockey got up and walked away and obviously was very concerned. Let's go to Kenny Rice. I think he's with Dr. Bramlage now.
All right, Donna, thank you. Dr. Bramlage, you've just gotten off the phone talking to the other veterinarians. What is the report on 8 Bells?
Unfortunately, she broke both front ankles and collapsed, lost support to both of them. And so they immediately euthanized her because there was no possible way to save her. And that's an injury that's painful. So they just euthanized her immediately.
All right, doctor, it's never a good time to be here, I know, in these situations.
No, it's a bad injury in both front legs.
All right, Dr. Bramlage, thank you for your time. Tom, sad moment here as the others celebrate the Derby for 8 Bells and her connections, Tom.
The incredible swing of emotions. The joy with Kent DeSormo, Rick Dutrow with Big Brown. His daughter Molly, remember the story. Traumatic life she has had. Kent DeSormo's wife Sonia. And the joy here juxtaposed with the sadness with the Porters and with 8 bells Larry Jones, his wife Cindy.
Michelle, they cannot beat this horse.
We'll take a replay of this move going into the far turn. Kent DeSormo starts riding this horse pretty vigorously at this point right now. They're about 3/8 of a mile out, and the response wasn't instant. It took him about 3 or 4 strides to hit that gear. Once he got him up a half a length off the lead, still got about 5/16 of a mile to run right now. Approaching the quarter pole, his ears are still fluttering around a little bit, gets him into the hard drive, switches into his lead beautifully right there from his right lead into his left lead, or left lead into his right lead. Kent reaches back, gives him a couple of smacks, which he hasn't felt a lot of here. He continues to widen the last 1/8 of a mile and wins with a lot of authority here, and looks like a very, very fresh horse finishing up here.
Yeah, that's what's impressive. He just looks as strong as ever as he crosses the finish line after his first race at 1.25 miles and only the 4th race of his career. Rick Dutrow and his friends, the owners from IEAH Stables, and Paul Pompa Jr. celebrating the victory of Big Brown. Here's the DeSormo clan. Sonia with the Jacob with those implants, enabling him to hear the roar of the crowd for his dad's mount, Big Brown. And Kent on the horse. Final strides. Right now he knows he's got it won, and it's a sweet feeling. Kent DeSormo has rejuvenated his career. And perhaps, as you said, Gary, a little more mature now, thinking about his family and his responsibilities. And he's won his 3rd Kentucky Derby as Big Brown becomes the 7th unbeaten Kentucky Derby winner. Big Brown wins the Kentucky Derby, and when we come back to Churchill Downs, we'll have the payoffs in the 134th Run for the Roses. Thanks to the MetLife blimp for providing today's dramatic coverage. MetLife has the protection you need for the most important ifs in your life. Visit MetLife.com today. Big Brown has won the Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs in Louisville. And here are the payouts. $685, $480, 8 bells, the ill-fated. Durkin called it $1160. The Exacta $141, the Tri $3,400, and the Super $58,737. So Big Brown now unbeaten in his 4 career starts as the favorite, winning this Kentucky Derby. And let's take a look now at our Avidart in case you missed it replay.
There was a stampede at the start, but not for Big Brown. Pyro right at the start. Gets it from both sides here, gets squeezed, and that's his race right there. Pretty much knocked out of it. No clipping of heels or anything, but you definitely did not want that to happen early on. It's a clean start. Far outside right-hand side of the TV screen there. Big Brown. The only trouble he's going to have in this race is going a little bit wide, but Kent DeSormo's got to love the position he's got right now. He's laying about 6th right now. Nobody in his way, no dirt in his face. That was one of the big concerns about this horse, is whether he could handle getting dirt in his face. Well, they took that element clear out of it. Ease into this first turn in the perfect situation. Just cruising right now. It's a matter of just waiting for Kent DeSormo.
Can you feel the strength of your horse underneath you and say, I've got so much horse, I don't care if I'm a little wide?
Oh, absolutely. You know, crossing underneath the finish line for the first time, going under these twin spires, what your chances are going to be. There's a ton of horse underneath Kent DeSormo right now. You can see that he's got his feet in front of him, actually restraining this horse, saying, no, 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 not yet. Let's wait until we straighten up into the stretch. Let's save all of this energy, keeping him well out off of the rails.
Yeah, and out of trouble.
And
right?
the reason for that is he's keeping this horse relaxed. The closer you put a thoroughbred that's had works in the morning towards the inner rail, the more they want to pull, the faster they want to go. He's keeping this horse nice, relaxed out there, just as if it was a morning workout for him as they enter the far turn.
And here he is, and about now, Kent chirps to him, and as you said, it took him a minute or two, a stride or two to really get rolling, but once he did, look out.
First time on this racetrack in the afternoon, and did take him a couple of strides, but man, when he did hit that stride, he got right up to half a length off of the lead in about 4 or 5 strides after that. And look at the acceleration here coming off of the turn. It's tough to see. This is a great shot we have right here because it shows the actual acceleration coming off there. It's tough to feel that unless you're sitting on a horse's back. That shows it pretty good right there, and that acceleration was something that you don't find in many racehorses.
And there he goes, headed to the finish line, and an overwhelming victory in the Kentucky Derby. Big Brown. And that's a look at our Avidart in case you missed it replay. And here is the complete order finish now in the Kentucky Derby. Big Brown, 8 bells, sadly second, and then was injured. Dennis of Cork, Tail of Acadi recaptured the glory, 5th, as the Roussel and Lamarck came back after the 20th year anniversary of Risen Star's defeat. And Smooth Air, Visionaire never really fired. Court Vision all the way down to Big Truck, Adriano, and Mamba, who brought up the rear. 59 links beating Mamba as Big Brown and Kent DeSormo celebrate. Back at Churchill Downs in Louisville, the 134th Kentucky Derby, where we've witnessed triumph and tragedy today. The triumph, the 5-length victory by Big Brown, and the tragedy pulling up the filly 8 Bells, who had finished second, beaten 5 lengths by Big Brown. A heroic effort against the Colts. Was injured, had to be euthanized, and we understand that Kenny Rice has made his way back to Larry Jones' barn. Perhaps you can tell us what you found out, Kenny.
Well, Tom, as you can only imagine right now, Larry is not available for any comment, and as we all know that's covered this exciting, interesting game for many years, there is always that delicate moment. And consider the last 24 hours for trainer Larry Jones. He won the Kentucky Oaks yesterday. He was coming in with what most people thought was an impossible Derby Oaks double by winning the Derby with the filly, and she ran just a great race, but because of those compound fractures in her front 2 legs, had to be euthanized. And again, we have not been able to talk to Larry Jones right now, Tom.
All right, Kenny, thank you very much. Meanwhile, Governor Steve Beshear and the Winning Connections are in the winner's circle. We'll have that winner's circle ceremony when we come back to Churchill Downs.
The 134th running of the Kentucky Derby, presented by Yum Brands, is brought to you by Visa. Go on, live life, and remember that no matter what it takes, life takes Visa. By 2x Ultra Tide. By Yum Brands. Yum Brands is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the 134th Kentucky Derby. And by Avidart.
Beneath the twin spires of Churchill Downs, where Big Brown has won the Kentucky Derby. And for the winner's circle festivities, let's go to Bob Costas.
All right, Tom, as you put it earlier, triumph and tragedy today at Churchill Downs. Here is the triumph part of that story. Big Brown, jockey Kent DeSormo, trainer Rick Dutrow, and many of Big Brown's connections, many members of the very sizable ownership group, and also here as we prepare for the presentation is David Novak, the CEO of Yum Brands.
Well, Bob, what a great day for the Commonwealth of Kentucky and the world. On behalf of Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, KFC, Long John Silver, and A&W, Yum Brands is the proud sponsor of the greatest event in the world. Thank you very much.
Bob Evans is the CEO of Churchill Downs. He'll present the governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Steve Beshear.
Thanks, Bob. Let me first of all thank all of our sponsors, including Yum and Visa. They've been terrific. You guys at NBC have been terrific to work with. This is the second largest attendance in Derby history, and we're really excited about that. A beautiful day here in the Commonwealth. And to present the trophy to this year's winner of the 134th Run for the Roses, good friend, Governor Steve Beshear.
Thank you, Bob. Each year on the first Saturday in May, the world focuses on Churchill Downs and the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And each year, Kentucky shows the world what a great place this is to work and live and play. And what a race we showed them today. Our congratulations to Big Brown. And as the governor of the Commonwealth, the horse capital of the world, I'm pleased to present this owner's winning trophy on behalf of about 100 or so owners in IEH stables, to Mike, to Rich, to Paul. Congratulations, my friends. You've done a great job, and what a great team.
Mike, as the governor mentioned, there are many of you. We'll designate you as the spokesman, Mike Ivarone. A quick thought on what's been accomplished today.
Well, first off, our sympathies go out to the connections of 8 Bells. I know she was a terrific filly. We just found out about it. As far as this for us, you know, there are very few things in your life that you'll ever experience that even compare to this. Other than the birth of my children, this is right up there as a dead heat.
Congratulations, and now on to the Preakness.
We just can't wait to be in Baltimore.
All right, Mike, thanks very much. Now let's go over to another Mike, Mike Battaglia, who's got trainer and jockey somewhere in this crowd of people.
All right, thank you, Bob. And it is a very crowded winner's circle. Rick Dutrow will talk to you first. Kent DeSormo, great ride. You've been saying all week how good this horse was. If you're, he went out there today, and he proved everything that you said was true.
Well, he's been saying that to me, and he's been telling everybody that have watched him or been getting on him that he's just sitting on a race. And all he needed to do was like the track. We had a good post where nothing was going to get in our way, and he showed up the right way.
I don't think it mattered what post you had today, Rick. Kent DeSormo, you were from that outside post. We've got an isolated replay coming up of, here we go, right here. Tell us about your trip here from the 20-hole, Kent.
Well, I tell you what, he broke listening to the crowd. The crowd, he was attentive to the cheers. He knew something big was happening. He took a light hole right through here. And I swear, I think in about 50 yards, you're going to see me. My head's on the swivel. I'm trying to figure out where I want to tuck in. But this colt starts swiveling that left ear. He's going to be like, okay, let's follow this guy. He's just a really intelligent horse and a pleasure to ride. Michelle's done a great job with him. He's right in my hands. And right through here, he stopped pulling. He just got into a very comfortable cruising canter. And he stayed in that form and that canter probably all the way to the half-mile pole. So right about here, we're turning down the backside. He gave me a nice lead change. In other words, if it were a golf swing, he's going through the basics right now. He's got his hands in the right place, and he's taking it all the way back, torquing it up, and just giving me a nice ride. Now, as we get to here, I'll explain it to the fans like me and Tom Cruise in Top Gun. This colt has got his ear on the target. I'm locked on now. I mean, it's just, he's locked on the horse right here, and all I've got to do is pull the trigger. Right about here, you see my hands, I'm asking him now. I asked him to reel this guy in front of me, gave him a little light scrape on his ear there, and he took off. I said, okay, now I'm happy. Let's continue with this canter here.
Right here, when you really ask him to run, the rest of them, you can forget it.
Actually, right here, until I spanked him there, I had actually let him get a breather. I let him slow down and canter. Look at him now. He's just all within himself. He's not straining yet, and he's not throwing the gauntlet down for the wire. And then right here, I asked him to give me his best stride, and he just started stretching his legs. He actually didn't stretch him. He just started adding power to the stride that he has, and he's got some power.
Well, Kent, great ride. Rick, great job getting you. I guess if he's Tom Cruise, you're his wingman, because you sure had this one ready. And Big Brown, a powerful, powerful performance here in the 134th running of the Kentucky Derby. So, guys, an excellent job. Great job. What about the Preakness?
Can't wait to get there.
Any predictions?
Not yet.
And how about you, Kent? This is Jacob's first Derby. What do you think about that?
Well, I was so glad that my family's here to support me, and we're looking forward to the love of the world with him, and I wish the Preakness was in 2009.
And this puts you in some pretty elite company with 3 Derby wins. You're up there with Gary Stevens, Angel Cordero, and only about 7 others with 3 or more Derby wins in their career.
Well, I got to thank people like Mike Ivarone and IEAH. They've given me the opportunity to ride these beautiful horses. And Babe here, he had them breathing fire, and I just want to thank Churchill Downs and the fans and UPS and everybody for having us out here today.
All right, thanks, guys. Congratulations. Let's go back to Tom and Gary.
All right, Mike, and so Big Brown will head to the Preakness undefeated, the 7th Kentucky Derby winner to win the race undefeated, and he's won his 4 career races by a combined total of 34 lengths. That's 8.5 lengths per race. Is anybody going to beat him in the Preakness?
You know what? He gets to shorten up in distance. Looks like a fresh horse coming off of this race today. I like that shortening back up. He possesses speed like Seattle Slew had. It's been 30 years since we had our last Triple Crown winner. It's time for another one.
All right, we look ahead to the Preakness at Pimlico. We'll be there 2 weeks from today, Saturday, May 17th, the Preakness Stakes right here on NBC, starting at 4:30 Eastern Time. Go to the all-new NBCSports.com for complete coverage from the biggest day in racing. And coming up next, except on the West Coast, it's your local news. Then starting at 8, 7 Central, it's Medium, followed by Law and Order, Criminal Intent, and Law and Order. Big Brown, Rick Dutrow, Kent DeSormo win the Kentucky Derby, but the tragedy, too, of the ill-fated 8 Bells. For our entire NBC Sports crew, this is Tom Hammond saying so long from Churchill Downs. You've been watching the 134th Kentucky Derby presented by Yum Brands.